I used to believe that marriage problems typically arise within the first 5 to 10 years after the wedding. However, as two individuals come together to build a family and share a life, each person has their own unique expectations. Some envision a marriage similar to their parents, while others may look to fictional couples or even neighbors for guidance. Little did I know that divorce can happen even after 40 years of marriage, when grandchildren are already part of the picture and the thought of separation seems like a ridiculous notion. My own experience taught me this lesson. Patricia and I got married while we were still students, and I completed college while she took a year off and later pursued a correspondence course for another 2 years. This is how we made it to graduation. I remember how I would barely hold the hand of our 3-year-old son, Ryan, and 2 years later, his sister joined our family. I joined the Army and quickly realized that a military career suited me, so I decided to stay. Patricia and the kids followed me as we moved from place to place across the country, and there were times when I was deployed overseas, causing us to be apart for months at a time. Despite the challenges, I never really heard any complaints from Patricia. Perhaps it was because I faithfully provided financial support and the amount was sufficient. After all, my job was risky and I was even wounded twice, spending months in hospitals to recover. The final blow came when I received a splinter in my back, leading me to resign from the military and transition to a regular job. I thought that a life without risk and danger would be easier, but it turned out that everyday life also presents its own set of challenges. Fortunately, my education, military training, resilience, and dedication helped me navigate through these obstacles. I learned to approach my work with intelligence and commitment. In my 6th year, I had achieved a lot: promotions, a good position, and eventually becoming a co-owner of the company. This meant no financial worries for our family. However, Patricia had a different plan. After her maternity leave, she chose to work part-time at a pharmacy. Once our kids grew up, I retired and we settled in the same town. That's when Patricia decided to focus on her career and joined a pharmaceutical company. She quickly rose through the ranks and became the head of the marketing department after a few years. For more than a decade now, Patricia has been a determined and accomplished woman. Despite having a team of capable employees, she prefers to do things herself. When I asked her why, she would always say, "It's a guarantee that everything will be done right." She believes in her responsible, knowledgeable team, but she also knows they have their own differences. She can't just delegate tasks to a group of people for important projects or trips. It's like a balancing act for her, organizing and managing everything. And let me tell you, she excels at it. They say a happy woman's beauty never fades, and Patricia is a true testament to that. Even at 50 years old, she radiates inner joy and energy. If I didn't know her age, I would never believe it. She looked amazing, taking care of her health and staying active. I always admired her determination and the challenges she took on with grace. I realized that she had also gone through similar hardships while waiting for me and managing our 2 young children. Now she was finally pursuing her dreams that she had since her college days. How could I complain about her long business trips? She would even call every evening and express how much she missed me. There was a time when I had an important task to settle a crucial matter regarding the supply of raw materials for the company. After going through negotiations and countless emails, I had to personally visit and finalize every detail. I packed my suitcase and departed. Coincidentally, my wife was also on a business trip, and we were both in Florida. Among all the potential candidates to handle the task, I was chosen. With the intention of surprising her, I didn't mention anything to my beloved assistant. My plan was to finish the work and then spend a couple of extra days with her. Carrying 2 hefty folders of documents, I entered the office of the company's CEO. Engrossed in the details, we spent over 4 hours meticulously going through each page and discussing every small aspect. In the conclusion, everything unfolded satisfactorily. We finalized the paperwork, exchanged handshakes, and had a remarkably productive day, my colleague conveyed. To cap it off, he suggested that we should take a well-deserved break, inviting me to visit him. With a promise to instruct the secretary, he revealed our plans for the evening at his country house, assuring that everything was prepared for a delightful dinner and relaxation. He casually mentioned his unmarried status. During our transportation, the CEO caught my gaze and shared a more personal revelation. The mother of his 2 sons had passed away 14 years ago. He now had a common-law wife of almost 5 years, yet their relationship remained unofficial. She dismissed the formality, often emphasizing that they were no longer 18. However, a significant drawback was her frequent work-related travels, keeping her away for at least 2 months at a time. Despite the challenges, every reunion felt as special as the first time. In a hushed tone, as if confiding a secret, he disclosed that a surprise awaited us at his colleague's country house in Florida. What I encountered there was more shocking than a live dinosaur. As we entered a splendid garden and approached an imposing door along a meticulously paved alley, the CEO rang the bell and it swung open promptly. With a gesture towards the woman who greeted us, he introduced her as his wife. Distracted by a phone call, I turned towards the house only after those words, and to my surprise, I heard a sharp female shriek. The commotion revealed that the woman had fallen to the floor, and the CEO, along with 2 other men, rushed to her aid. I was terrified, despite not knowing her, but I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. As I approached to offer assistance, I finally caught a glimpse of her face, which had been hidden from me by the men surrounding her. My heart sank as I realized it was my wife lying on the floor in the hallway. She was not only my wife, but also my colleagues. I had assumed Patricia was in this city for work, staying at the corporate apartment and traveling to different pharmacies and pharmaceutical firms. Little did I know that she had been living a double life, spending 3 months at a time with me and then with her director from Florida. When she saw me, she was so startled that she fainted. I wondered if she had explained anything to her second husband, but I couldn't dwell on that thought for long. I immediately made an excuse and left. I couldn't bring myself to answer her phone calls because I didn't know what to say or how to confront her about her lies, betrayal, and disregard for our marriage. How could I suddenly discover, after 40 years of being together, that I had been nothing more than a doormat, a backup plan, a tool for her deception? Even before the divorce was official, she tried to explain herself, apologize, ask for forgiveness, and claimed that I had misunderstood everything. I couldn't bear to listen to her excuses any longer. Since then, we haven't crossed paths again, and I have no desire to know where she is or who she is with. I wonder if her second husband will take her back now. Perhaps she would agree to a mere formality that she couldn't afford before. Despite being legally married to me, my children and grandchildren continue to maintain a connection with Patricia, although they fear disclosing her affairs to me. I remain hopeful that with time, I will be able to mention her name or even glance at her picture without feeling a shiver, but that reality feels distant. I never anticipated that the fortress I spent 4 decades constructing would suddenly crumble and prove futile.